Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and haven't done this for quite a while. I'm continuing our William Hope Hodgson series. For whatever reason, Emily didn't want to join me on this one. Number 5 in William Hope Hodgson's bibliography by me, The Mystery of the Derelict. We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us.
The Mystery of the Derelict was published in The Storyteller in July of 1907, and it's part of the Sargasso Sea series by Hodgson. It's just a short story. It's been very popular. It's been reprinted a great deal, but I'm reading it this is volume 1 of the collected fiction of William Hope Hodgson by Nightshade Books, which you can still get these in trade paperback. These nice hardcovers are no longer being printed, but they're still doing the trade paperback, and of course they're available as ebook. And this is volume 1, The Boats of the Glen Carrig and Other Nautical Adventures. And The Mystery of the Derelict is in here. Brief synopsis is a ship comes across another of these Sargasso Sea things where you these days they're usually plastic collections, but back then it was seaweed that would collect, would get washed into the ocean and would run into each other and get tangled, and currents would bring more of it in that would run into it and get tangled in. It would build up into almost like an island floating out in the sea. And sometimes boats got trapped in these things. And Hodgson wrote a whole bunch of these stories about Sargasso Seas. And they're all basically the same. A ship comes upon one, and there's something trapped, and there's something weird about what's trapped. And this one is as good as all the rest. It's a terrific little horror story. At this point, like I say, it's kind of repetitive, but it does have a twist on the other Sargasso Sea stories I've read so far that makes it a little different. And this one is made all the more terrifying because there isn't anything supernatural to this story. I'm not going to call this one a top tale, but I do recommend it. It is an excellent early horror story, and one of the stories that sets the stage for a lot of what Lovecraft would eventually do, and of course a lot of other authors that came after 1907 learned from the style of this story. So to get a little deeper into it, the ship is called the Derelict, and they come upon floating weed bed, and they're carefully making their way through it, but they spot an old style derelict ship that is tangled in the weed patch. And they spot another small boat coming along, which runs up to the derelict. And the Derelict crew is, the Derelict is a little ways away and kind of just biding their time, watching what's going on. And they hear gunfire on this second boat, the one that ran into the ancient derelict. They hear gunfire. And then things quiet down. So then a group from the crew of the Derelict takes a lifeboat, rows over to those other two boats to investigate. They find nobody on the modern boat. They're all gone. What happened to them? But they hear a strange sound from the ship. They hear a strange sound around them. Well, they want to find where that crew went, so they go on to the ancient derelict ship. And they're standing on the deck and they're hearing that strange sound, but louder, coming from below deck. And it spooks them. It's weird. They've never heard anything quite like it, so they retreat to the more modern boat, heading for their lifeboat. And before they get too far, one of the guys glances back at the old derelict to see literally thousands of rats coming up from below decks and onto the ship that they're now on. So they hightail it off, get down to their rowboat, but the rats catch the last couple guys and are biting them while they get over the side into the rowboat. The rats come down the side of the boat and into the rowboat. Well, they fight them off and get the rowboat moving out into the water, and then they think they're okay. But then they see the rats coming across the weeds, floating in the water. They're walking on the weeds and get to their lifeboat and are attacking them again. They ultimately fight that group of rats off and get back to the Tarawak and get the hell out of there. And that's the end of the story. So you can see there's nothing supernatural here. Rats are real, and they're just in this ship breeding, and they eat whatever they can, and there's lots of them. How there'd be thousands of rats in an ancient derelict, and there's not like 100 ships collided with it that they've been eating off of. They would have died out long ago, I would think, before their numbers would get that big, but never mind. It's still a really horrifying story, and I find that more terrifying, that it's something potentially real and that there's nothing supernatural going on. And the supernatural horror, it's not real, okay? It's made up. It's imaginary monsters. But this one, rats are real, and this is a situation that maybe smaller numbers of rats than what are here, but still could happen. Okay, you still could get attacked. And that makes it all the more terrifying. So, little interesting twist to this Sargasso Sea story. This is number 5 in William Hope Hodgson. I didn't write down what the next story is, but there will be more Hodgson coming up. Actually, quite a few more, because I got I think 5 volumes of these things to go through, and we haven't gone through much. Only at number 5. So we got a lot of William Hope Hodgson coming up. If you've read The Mystery of the Derelict and have thoughts about this story, please leave your comments in the comments section of the video for everybody to enjoy. And come on back for more. We have more William Hope Hodgson, more of everything else. If you like horror, there's lots of Poe, Lovecraft, and King on this channel that we're working through as long as we don't run out. It's going to be a while. Lots of science fiction, lots of classic literature, lots of everything that we read and report on here in Telltale Books. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and come on back and see me again.